Hi everyone, this is Jen, the creator of JuJu'be Doula Holistic Birth Wellness. So I wanted to create this video to share with everybody a little bit about what is a discovery call. So I always encourage those who are interested in my work, who may want to get a feeling for what it would be like to work with me, on a more individual level or on a closer capacity, to, you know, have that chat. Like, what would it be like to work with her? And so that is essentially what a discovery call is. It's just us vibing a little bit, seeing if we're in alignment, seeing if what I have to offer you is a match, seeing what I have to offer you or what it looks like for you, and how I would support you. And we would talk about that in the discovery call. So for an example, if you're coming, if you are, if you have a spiritual practice, or you're kind of opening up to this idea of having a spiritual practice within your life, and you know that you are desiring to conceive, let's say in the next year or so, or and you want to start now. You really want to bring yourself to that full capacity in order to bring that life in, right? And this is your spiritual journey. Like, you know that you are meant to bring in these new children, let's say. And when I say new children, I mean we're not programming them, right? We're not programming them in the old way, and we're allowing them to just be who they are. And so naturally and organically, and let's say you that you like what I have to say about this, and you're like, oh, maybe I want to see what Jen has to offer me. So we'll start talking about what's going on in your life and what does it look like. Or maybe you just want to know how you can set yourself up for success, in the sense of when it comes to conception, like having the best eggs and sperms and whatever it may be. Like, that's something that we can talk about as well. I do tend to focus more on the physical, but not just the physical, right? So I'm more full scope. So it's all parts of who you are: spiritual, mental, psychological, emotional, physical, right? It's that wholeness, that holistic perspective, who you are within your life, how you're showing up. Are you working the right job? Perhaps we just need to look at that and say, well, you're not happy. Like, maybe we need to start opening you up into other ideas. Maybe you don't want to be a full-time stay-at-home mom. Maybe you want to, bring in a little bit of your own, abundance, and, connecting to your mission and what you're meant to bring here into this world. And I'm not saying that you're not meant to bring in, but see how this is all connected. Like, if you connect it, then you can create, you don't, it doesn't have to be this or that. So maybe you really want to open up your gifts and your abilities and what you are here to share with others and help others with. What's your passion? And so we can look at that and open that up for you and see how that connects to your conception, and how that fits in, right? And how all that fits in, and kind of, creating this path for you moving forward. What does it look like to be working with me? Where am I going to challenge you a bit? Where am I going to open you up to your full potential in all areas of your life, right? Through the various stages that I work with. That would be conscious conception, birth. I also, sacred feminine would just be connecting to your sacred feminine. So this would be like preconception work. Then conscious conception, so aligning you to sacred sexuality and conscious conception. So sacred sexuality is like with your partner, if you have one, but it all is within balancing wholeness within yourself. So you cannot come into partnership with another unless you are fully in your power and you are in your wholeness. So if there's any types of codependency or different patterns like that, those are things that we also work to release out as well, because we don't want to be passing that on to our children. So where there's any energetic imbalances within yourself or within your relationship, and that's, connecting to that aspect as well, because that will affect, everything afterwards. So we want to take a step back, look at everything, make sure everything's working properly, right, within your life, that you're living a life in alignment. And if you're not, then we start working to shift things out, right? But it's you setting that intention and holding yourself accountable that this is what you desire and this is what you want to give to your, to the children that you're bringing in as well as sharing it with others too. So, and then after birth, we work through postpartum healing and recovery and divine family creation. So what does the family look like moving forward? As you bring this new life in, your family dynamics, everything changes after you have a child. Everything changes. Nothing is the same ever again. You just brought a new life into this world. So it is looking at everything within your life in order to bring your life into alignment, which is essentially you living your highest potential, loving life, being able to go with the ebbs and the flows. This isn't some fantasy world. This is like you just being in the flow of life and everything that it has to offer you, and, stepping up when you're being asked to, stepping up to be something more, stepping in to be the change. And these are things that we look at within the discovery call. So where you are at, where you would like to be, and then I hold space for that, and I help you get there. I help you get there. And this doesn't have to be all like airy-fairy, woo-woo, although I am very much airy-fairy and woo-woo at the same time. But this is, practical as well. This is... I work with the conscious mind. So the discovery call is looking at all these areas, and we just start talking about them. And perhaps it's just you wanting to prepare for birth. Then it's, well, do you have the right care provider? Do you want to make a change there? And if you are like, dead set on this path, well, then how can I support you in your birth desires by tuning into this path? How can I get you to that highest potential on that path, if that's the path you want to take? And then also expressing and sharing, what you're most likely to encounter on that path, and how to navigate that path, whatever path it is that you choose. So we look at various paths, and then you pick a path, and then we go down that path, and this is what it looks like, and this is how I can support you on that path. It's that. So those are the things that we look at within the discovery call. And then we can talk a little bit about how I support you. So what that looks like. I like to get an idea of what you want, what you're looking for, and I can say, yep, I can meet you there. This is what that looks like. Providing you with the opportunity for informed consent, and helping you to communicate your needs and your desires to your caregiver, and to stand up for yourself, and to ensure that you're getting the care that you deserve, and that is a basic human right. And it's things like that. So it's, varying, whatever you have, going on, it's, I'm here to support you in getting where you need to be, where you want to be, right? Where you want to be within the situation. Whatever that looks like. So, and having the tools and the information in order to back that up. So the evidence, I'm very evidence-based. Or, I like to have something to say, yep, this is, this is it. This is why. Because, sometimes we don't get evidence-based care within the medical system model, if that's what you're choosing. Sometimes we don't get evidence-based care in other, models, and it's really what you want, what's right for you, what type of person are you, how you think, how you process, right? How you process, how you connect, how do you make those connections? How do you help yourself? How do you birth? How do you choose to birth? No matter what your choices are, but it's you taking your power back, right? It's you taking your power back and you saying, this is the birth that I'm choosing. And this is how we're going to go, we're going to go with it, not the other way around. You being in charge of yourself. And yet within, intelligence and knowing, evidence, having the evidence, the truth, right? Making sure everybody's safe. Making sure everybody's safe. So those are some things that we go over in the discovery call. Oh, and then of course, how I can support you through coaching, guidance. I work through hypnosis. I like to have an initial session with somebody where we go into hypnosis and we begin to create that mind map or that template, you could say, or that guide in moving forward, and we get the subconscious on board. So this is like starting to work through these subconscious issues. Like it's essentially saying, okay, subconscious, time for you to start letting go of this and that, this fear, this program, this somebody taught me something that's just not true. Somebody told me something that's just not true, and it's affecting my well-being, let's say, and it's starting to work through all of that crap, right? So maybe I had a mother that was maybe she was neglectful, or I experienced abandonment in my childhood. So how do we start releasing, working through that, healing all of that, and releasing all of that in order to not imprint that on our children, that old pattern, right? Or to recreate that, because that is when the subconscious hasn't dealt with its stuff. That is what happens, is we don't reach our full potential because the subconscious is blocking things, and no, don't go there because it's afraid. So it's how do you, heal your body? How do you heal your mind process? And working through hypnosis helps you to start opening up some of these areas that need some healing energy. And then we, I work through the hypnosis in order to start that process for you, in order to start breaking down some of these old patterns and ways of relating and pain in the body or whatever we're holding on to that needs to go before birth, that should go as early as possible. Whenever we start working, we can start working on it. But it's getting rid of all of that, right? Flushing that out of our system so we can create something new. So we can create a new path forward. That's up to us. Nobody can do it for us. We have to do it. We have to choose it. And so I help those who are ready and willing to step in and up and to be those new parents and create those new families, right? Moving forward. I help them to get there. So, and we do this through a sacred light guide. And then we go into nurture and flow work, which is where we start to work also on working with the conscious mind, processing more and bringing in harmony and wholeness and the right energies in order to assist us and elevate ourselves above where we were. And I work with crystals and muscle testing and essence, vibrational remedies. These are vibrational remedies. And these vibrational remedies help to create energy shifts. So our bodies, we are made of energy, right? That's right now in my body, I'm made of dense energy. In traditional Chinese medicine, they call this Jing. It's the dense energy. It's the physical body, but it's still energy. And so we bring in a vibrational essence that helps to, vibrate, let's say, at higher rates, this energy in the physical body in order to start getting out that which is we've manifested in the physical body. So if we haven't tended to something that's occurring on the subconscious levels, or healed something like an abandonment issue, let's just say, or neglect, it's like, again, we would carry that into the next generation because we hadn't dealt with it. We would just naturally carry it on because we hadn't dealt with it. We hadn't faced it. We hadn't looked at and healed it, right? And so that's what we're looking to do is, and it's in the body. It's in the body. It's in our genes. That's why they say like alcoholism is genetic, and different things, because it's been imprinted on us. And this is science, right? Some people might call it pseudoscience, and yet it just is. It's been around forever. It's energy, right? Everything is energy. So how do you work with energy? And so I work with energy. I help to tune you into what's happening on a conscious mind level. And how can we shift that out? How can we change that pattern moving forward? How can you take it upon yourself to begin to change it? Because nobody else is going to change, right? You have to create the change. So it's getting really creative. It's learning how to use these tools and techniques in order to get creative and find our own way forward. It's going to be very individual to each person. It's not going to look the same for everybody because you're the one that's coming. I can't tell you what to do, right? I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to give you the tools and the techniques in order for you to figure out what that path forward is and what's how to shift, right? And I help you along the way. I guide you in that process. I guide you into the spaces that you need to start, looking at, and then we kind of clear it, right? And then we clear it so you can see it clearly. Like, oh, now I get it. Now I can see it, right? Now I can see it. And so the conscious mind starts coming on board, right? And then the body starts healing itself because it can respond in this new way or act in this new way, vibrate in this new way, live in this and love in this new way, loving. And it's a process, of course, but that's how I work. So discovery sessions, sacred light guide, nurture and flow. And then I offer like much greater, packages, programs that I've put together, that I'm putting together, that assist and support you on a greater, grander scale. So we do group work. And when we do group work, we're harmonizing a whole group, right? We're moving some energy through a whole group. We're opening up and we're all connecting and we're creating greater wholeness. We're creating community, right? We're creating support networks for ourselves. We're creating support networks for ourselves. Who is our people? How do we find, and it's these groups are very helpful in order to continue to progress forward and to continue to create greater change and to get in contact with other people who are on the same page as you and who are doing this work as well. So we can exchange and share more. And so that's a little bit, and then of course I offer specific support, individual one-to-one, when it comes to conscious conception, when it comes to your pregnancy, when it comes to your partnership, sacred sexuality, when it comes to connecting to your path forward. If you have an alternative conception plan, it's connecting to your spirit baby. What is the energy of that baby that you're bringing in, and how can you begin to kind of work with it and align to it and make the changes in your life based on what that child's path is meant to be? What is that child meant to do forward? So it's connecting to all of that. And then, of course, making sure that you're well tended to and you have everything you need in postpartum time, and that you're, getting, you're being taken care of in whatever way you can be taken care of, but that you are being taken care of. It's just horrible, the postpartum experience for women currently, and we're not being honored properly. So, and it's that. So those are the things that we, work together on. Please, if you want to get more information, schedule this discovery call with me. We can talk, see if we're in alignment, see if we're a good match to work together. Yeah, and it would be, a great experience, regardless. And if we're not a good match and I'm not your person, then I can, perhaps refer you to somebody that you can work with, that would, work with you, that would be a better match for you, or, just give you something, out of it. So you have something that you had not had before. I think that's it for the discovery calls. I'm likely going to talk a little bit more in some of my other videos about my modalities and how I work with you on various levels. Until next time, toodaloo.